Imagine this, 1989. Japan is on top of the world, an absolute economic titan, seemingly unstoppable. But then, just a year later, poof, the crown is gone, and Japan's been kind of stuck ever since. So what on earth happened?
Before we get to the crash, you really have to understand just how high they climbed. I mean, the scale of this peak was just mind-boggling.
Get this, for the first time ever, the average person in Japan was wealthier than the average person in the United States. They'd actually surpassed America.
And the real estate bubble? It was insane. Just the land in Tokyo was worth more than all of the real estate in the entire state of California. Let that sink in for a second.
On top of that, if you looked at the 10 biggest companies on the planet, 8 of them were Japanese. We're talking about complete and total global domination here.
Okay, so how did this all happen? It all started with Japan's amazing post-war miracle, right? They turned themselves into this incredible export machine. But, and this is the crazy part, that very success is what planted the seeds for disaster.
The real trigger, the tipping point, was something called the Plaza Accord in 1985. It basically made the yen super strong, which crushed Japan's exports. So what does the Bank of Japan do? It panics. They slash interest rates to the floor. Suddenly, there's all this super cheap money flooding the economy. And where does it go? Right into stocks and real estate. And just like that, you've got one of the biggest asset bubbles in history.
And then, pop. In 1990, the whole thing just exploded. And we're not talking about a quick recession here. Nope. This was the beginning of what they now call the lost decades, a period of economic stagnation that just went on and on.
The amount of wealth that just evaporated was catastrophic. We're talking $1 trillion gone from the stock market and a staggering $3 trillion from real estate. Wages hit their peak right before the crash, and you won't believe this, they still haven't recovered to this day.
So what did the government do? Well, instead of letting these failing companies go under, they bailed them out. This created what we now call zombie companies. These firms just shuffled along, sucking up money and loans, but not really growing or innovating, essentially freezing the entire economy in its tracks.
The long-term damage was, well, it was profound. We're talking wages that never grew, a workforce that started shrinking, and a national birth rate that's just collapsing. The culture of overwork got so intense, they even have a word for it, karoshi, which literally means death from overwork.
Now, you might be thinking this is just a history lesson, right? Wrong. Japan's story is an incredibly powerful warning for all of us today.
Because this collapse taught us some really hard truths. That land wealth isn't real wealth. That bailing out failing companies just creates zombies. The cheap debt is never, ever free. And that, try as they might,